Today in RB News AI, ChatGPT becomes your home CFO, while the EU struggles to stop Temu. ChatGPT as a home CFO. For years, the relationship with a bank was simple. A bank account was used for transfers, a card for payments, and the banking app for checking how much money was left before the end of the month. If someone really wanted to understand their finances, they had to manually go through transaction history, analyze expenses, or create Excel spreadsheets. Few people had the time or patience for that. Now a change may be coming. Imagine a world where instead of browsing tables and statements, we simply ask, "Why did I overspend again?" And ChatGPT replies, "For the past 3 weeks, most of your money has been disappearing after 8 p.m. Mainly on eating out. One question, one answer, and suddenly numbers turn into a story about our habits." It sounds like the dream financial assistant. AI could monitor budgets, detect unnecessary subscriptions, warn about impulsive purchases, and explain where money is leaking away, not just count expenses, but also interpret our own behaviour. There is, however, one catch. For this kind of help to truly work well, artificial intelligence would need to see a lot, not just account balances, but also our everyday choices, where we drink coffee, when we shop, how we travel, and what we buy on impulse. And perhaps this is where the biggest shift really lies. In the past, banks knew how much money we had. AI may begin to understand who we are, and that is no longer just a story about technology. It is a story about the limits of privacy. In a world increasingly willing to trade personal data for convenience, what do you think? Could this become a tool that genuinely helps people in a time when many are drowning in debt? Could solutions like this reduce excessive consumerism in the era of Instagram lifestyles and constant comparison? Or is it simply another surveillance tool that will make marketing even more personalized? Europe is only now beginning its fight against Chinese shopping platforms. The problem is that Temu, Shein and AliExpress have already been playing by a completely different set of rules for a long time. Just a few years ago, online commerce seemed simple. You bought a product, the package flew from the other side of the world, passed through customs and eventually arrived at your door. Today, that world looks completely different. And that is exactly why the European Union is trying to change the rules of the game. Starting in July 2026, the EU plans to add a $3 fee to small parcels from outside the Union valued under $150, the official goal? To limit the flood of ultra-cheap products from Asia, tighten the system, and create fairer competition for European retailers. It sounds reasonable. The problem is that the market does not stand still. Chinese platforms like Temu, Shein and AliExpress no longer operate as ordinary stores shipping individual packages from China. They are building entire ecosystems, warehouses in Europe, logistics hubs, intermediaries, and systems that can adapt faster than regulations themselves. And this raises a key question. Is the EU fighting the problem, or just its old version? Because if products first arrive at warehouses inside Europe and are only then shipped to customers in Poland, Germany, or France, those deliveries no longer look like traditional imports from China. For customers, it is even more convenient. Packages arrive faster. For the platforms, it is also an advantage. They can bypass some restrictions and reduce the impact of new fees. The old model may suffer the most, buying tiny items for €1 or €2. A cable, a keychain, a phone case, a small gadget. In those cases, an extra $3 makes a huge difference. But for larger orders, the platforms have an entire arsenal of tools. Coupons, free shipping, promotions, and hiding costs elsewhere. And there is something uncomfortable that also needs to be said. The problem does not begin only on the Chinese side. Consumers love cheap prices. It is brutally simple. Most people do not analyze geopolitics, customs systems, or import structures. They see the price. If something costs $4 instead of $14, the decision is made almost instantly. That is why this entire story reveals a much bigger issue. Today's regulations were designed for a world that no longer exists. Small parcels used to be a marginal part of global trade. Today, billions of them enter Europe every year, and that may be why the real change will not come in 2026. A far more important reform may arrive after 2028, when platforms are expected to be treated as actual importers. That would mean greater responsibility for taxes, product safety, and the entire supply chain. Because today, responsibility is often blurred. The seller points to the platform. The platform points to the intermediary. The intermediary points to logistics, and the customer is left at the very end of the chain. That could be the moment when things truly begin to change. For now, however, it still looks a bit like the classic game of cat and mouse. Regulators close one door, and the market opens another. And maybe the most interesting question is no longer, can the EU stop Chinese platforms? But rather, in a world of global commerce, does anyone still truly control the rules of the game? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.